Not. Well, I mean, it's two different continents.
It's because how special you are.
I mean, I just send them a text.
Yeah. Anybody gonna be watching that? Clemson, a 2-14 Louisville team.
No, I do think.
Coach or even talk, I believe. She didn't. The guy
Hey, I still got my 1,000-point ball. And if I ever get broke someday, I'm gonna auction it off. I think it'll bring a lot of money. Chris, how can Marion be 1-17?
I don't know.
They're 1-17.
How can Louisville be 2-17?
I just think.
Sorry, Austin.
Chili supper, and they're going to recognize Coach Stonebreaker during the game, and so all that's going to be exciting.
Folks, this guy's doing all this with zero notes. So he's just like throwing stuff out there.
It's involving food, I guarantee. I mean, he knew that one.
Well, I'm just trying to. I'm definitely going to have 2 bowls of chili because I'm going to make a nice donation. I'm going to have the chili. I'm going to try it.
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a bowl up there. Passes to the left side.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. I've been known to do that.
Yeah.
Welcome to JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. We're on 1270 AM, 1019 FM, CBS Sports Radio, WAIN. And our sponsors tonight, JNS Auto Sales, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health. You can follow us on Facebook at WAIN 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, and on YouTube at WAIN Radio. We're also live on YouTube. We'll be archiving the show with video and audio on our YouTube page each week. Also, don't forget you can take us on the go by downloading our app free of charge from the Google Play or App Store. Just search WAIN Radio.
So, John, real quick question for you before we get going on this. Last week was our first show back of the new school year, we'll say, new sports year. First time on the new setup here with the YouTube. Did you go home and review film on how you done?
I did. I went back and reviewed film on my the camera angles, especially because I want to look good for the camera.
We'll get the right side.
Yeah, whether I need to do my hair in the back, but anyway, we're missing the third part of our crew tonight. Chris Wells could not be with us tonight, but as always, Scott Bennett is with me. And Scott, it's kind of a transition time for high school sports, going from summer straight into the major sport, high school football.
Yeah, it is. They've been up practicing for a little, or right at a month now after the dead period. I think it was the 10th or so. So right at a month since the dead period. And you go through your 2 or 3 weeks of helmet only practice, and you go through your week of helmet and shoulder pad practice, and then last week they got to go full pads starting last Monday. So got into that, and we got their first scrimmage under their belt last Friday night. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit here in a little bit, but got another scrimmage tomorrow night, a Thursday night scrimmage, as long as the weather's fine. They've got it scheduled for tomorrow night, but they do have it on their schedule they might move it to Friday if the field's not ready. So you don't want to tear your field up this time of year. I mean, it's so if it's muddy at all, they'll probably kick it to Friday night. But
I also got some other sports, high school sports, we're going to talk about after the first segment with the scrimmage, and that's volleyball. I think they open up maybe Monday night is their opener, and we've got golf, boys and girls golf. We got middle school girls basketball going on, and I got a quote from Coach Sneed today on that. We'll be going over that. Scott, let's talk about that scrimmage. I got a text from you at halftime of the scrimmage, and Adair County was leading 25-3. So talk us through it.
Basically, what I was really impressed with, the offense looked great. Don't get me wrong. While he had the ones in, but defensively, Adair County, while they had their starters in, they dominated it. And I think Gary County might have had one first down while they had the first team in. First team offense scored every time they had the ball in the first half. Lane Grant at quarterback, his first start there. First pass out of his hands, I think he's a little bit nervous. Threw it right straight in the ground. But after that, he looked great. Coach's son, Solomon Stonebreaker, is going to be, John, you're going to be calling his name a lot. He catches a lot of balls. He'll go get them. He's fun to watch. And like I said, after the first couple series, he took Coach Stonebreaker took Lane out, took Solomon out, put some of the backups in, and they went ahead and scored a couple times too. So it was a really good showing. Second half, a lot of it was the younger guys, some of the JV guys, some of the younger guys, and they weren't able to score, and they gave up a late touchdown to make the score 25-10 was the final in that scrimmage. So it's always good to go on the road, pick up it don't count, but to pick up a win, get you used to traveling a little bit, get that taken care of on how you're going to prepare for your trip, make the trip, get off the bus, all that kind of stuff. It's good for that. So me personally, I was very pleased with it. And it's a fun brand of ball to watch. I mean, it's
Scott, talk about the last time Coach Stonebreaker was in. His staff wasn't set, and he said there was kind of some to be announced staff members. Have we narrowed? I'm sure by now narrowed that down. Talk about that a little bit.
I don't know exactly who's coaching what. I mean, I know Coach Bryant is back and Coach Peck is back. Aaron Peck. Those are the two returning coaches from last year. I know that Coach Brian Cross, I think he's the defensive coordinator. It seems like he was calling the defenses. He's coached a lot of places. I know he coached at West Kentucky University when my brother-in-law played there back in early 2000s when they won the national championship. He was on the coaching staff there, but he's coached a lot of different high schools. He's been with Coach Stonebreaker the last couple of years at Casey before he came here, and that was a good hire to get him. Now he's obviously got some college experience, and he's good with the schemes and things like that. I'm trying to make sure.
Isaac Carter.
I was going to say Isaiah, but it's not Isaiah. It's his brother Isaac. Yeah, Isaac Carter's the line coach. And I've got more experience with him hearing about it from Hayden, because that's what Hayden plays, and Hayden really likes how he coaches. He demands a lot of them, but he loves on them too. I mean, it's and Isaac hadn't been out of high school that long. I mean, he played back when 16, 17, somewhere around in there when he graduated. So. He's not been out that long, but he does a good job. And like I said, there's a few different things that you'll see, John. And if you come out we'll talk about a little bit about tomorrow night too, about some times and stuff. But they've got a new video system where they obviously they're still videoing up top in the middle of the field for the view like we get, but they've also got a camera system set up in the end zone. And we've seen it before, but this is a little bit different. I think it's called Huddle Sideline. And what it does, it's got a direct link to a TV that they have on the sideline under a tent. And they've got chairs set up like a classroom, 3 or 4 rows of chairs there looking at this TV. And there's not a lot of kids that play both ways right now. There's probably 3, maybe 4 that's playing both ways. So when the offense comes off the field, they go and get under that tent. Coach Stonebreaker come over there and they'll talk about things. And so there's some coaching going on during the games too, some scheme things. Defense comes off. I saw Coach Cross go over there and work with some of his defenders on some different things. So they got live. What they can do, it's being recorded live, but the way the technology is, you can back it up so many plays or whatever to watch, and you can see what the defense is doing. When you're on offense, you can see what the defense is doing. When on defense, you can see what the offense is doing. But it's a really neat thing to see that.
Scott, I guess this is a question for the special teams coach, or maybe even Coach Stonebreaker, but many times during the broadcast over the last couple of years, I go, man, we just need 3 points. We're in field goal range. When we're inside the 5, goal to go, and it's a 1-2 point game, tie game, whatever. Are the Indians at this point, do we have a place kicker?
We were 1 for 4 on extra points. Let's put it that way.
So we attempted.
Extra points, not field goals.
Right. So we attempted extra points.
Yeah, we were 1 for 4.
Okay. So
and 2 of the 3 misses weren't close. Let's put it that way.
So that's
the one miss was really close, but I'm anxious to see if he stays with that. If I don't know, he may very well. But
Scott,
to me, if you can go 50% from 2 point conversions.
Another question. You take a guy like Lane Grant. Lane's everywhere. He flies around. I remember just very impactful on defense as well. Special teams, running kicks back, punts back. A tough, hard-nosed guy. You talked about both ways. Is a guy like Lane? Is he probably not going to play on defense?
Quarterback only, not even return game or nothing. Okay. Quarterback only.
Can't risk and get hurt.
No, for sure. No. So, and it's I think from talking to Lane a little bit, he misses the defense. Just like what you said, he's always had his nose in there, and I think he misses. That's one thing he misses about it. But Lane's going to do what's best for a team, and right now, what's best for the team is him being a healthy quarterback.
Yeah, well, we're gonna take a quick break. We come back. We're gonna talk about the upcoming scrimmage tomorrow night, and we're gonna talk a little volleyball also here on the JNS Sports Talk Live and Local. We'll be back.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
It's how sports know-it-alls know it all. CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM and 1270 AM WAIN. Plus online, 1019WAIN.com.
Smart home technology has something for everyone, and a fast, reliable internet connection from Duo Broadband is essential to any smart home. Duo offers fiber internet speeds up to 1 gig with mesh-capable Wi-Fi to cover every corner of your smart home. Get free installation, free first month, plus a GigaSpire blast router and mesh extender, free for 3 months when you sign up for 500 meg or higher internet. Stop by, call or visit duobroadband.com for details.
welcome back to the show here. Scott Bennett, John Shelley, our producer, Austin Armstrong, our sponsors on the show tonight. J&S Auto Sales, the main sponsor, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, and Scott, we got a YouTube page now, WAIN Radio, so we're live, and you can also stream it. It's also archived. Scott, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow night, Meet the Indian night. I know there's a middle school scrimmage. It's going to start about 5 o'clock. I talked to Athletic Director Tyler Maskell this afternoon, and he thought the high school, Adair County High School versus Barron County would start around 7:15 tomorrow night. No admission, so it's just free to come and watch, and I know I'm going to try to go out.
I heard $5 admission.
Oh, you heard?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay. Well, he just said on his end, so maybe the football boosters is charging.
That might be.
That he wasn't going to. So I stand corrected on that. Maybe there is an entry fee. But people want to watch football. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The $5.
Hopefully that cold front's don't get through, and it's not supposed to be very warm at all tomorrow. Very hot. It's not going to be cold, but it'll be a good night to go out. Like you said, middle school is going to scrimmage Southern Pulaski at 5 o'clock. They don't have a Meet the Indians. Introduce all the players about 6:45, and then the scrimmage gets started after that. Also don't have some food trucks out there tomorrow, so John, bring your appetite.
Food trucks.
Yeah, food trucks. Grubhub, Reruns Barbecue, Better Burgers, and Lux Lemons. It's a lemonade stand.
Okay.
So bring your appetite out there and come for that. But I hope they have a good crowd out there tomorrow night. Obviously, the big one will be a week from Friday. Be the opening game, host Russell County. As long as the weather holds up, I expect a huge crowd out there. There's a lot of excitement in the community right now.
I really like the choice. I don't know whose choice it was, the scrimmage of Barron County. We've seen that matchup the last 2 times. It's been very comparable. Both teams very similar with the number of athletes. Been very tight games. Scott, we called, I remember the last Barron County game over at Barron, and we sat in one of those Sky Suites over there.
Yeah, that's the one that I watched on YouTube. I watched and listened to you all. I was able to make that game.
That's right. Ty was with me.
And I've called one game over there with you the first time. I guess it was the first season they had that stadium open. And I still the thing I remember was a great view of the field and everything, but you had to walk through the men's bathroom to get to our booth.
Scott, I hate to tell you this next part because it really sounds like I'm rubbing it in, but their culinary department over there at Barron County, they rent those suites for big money, and most of I don't know. I guess an individual that could afford a couple $1,000s or whatever for a home game.
Good write off for a business.
Yeah, he said most of them are like construction companies and just businesses in general over in that area that will buy those up. They will come to the games, and then this culinary unit at Barron County, you place your order of what you want, and so they came in there and asked me, what I wanted, and I think I had a dozen wings, extra hot. I think I had some Asian zing. I had celery dip, potato chips.
This doesn't shock me at all.
I mean, I was like, this is amazing.
And probably called the whole game chewing on it.
I'm not throwing any shade because at our home games at Adair County Football Boosters, they always take care of us.
Yep.
But it was kind of different. I felt like I was sitting in the clubhouse there at Keeneland, getting waited on. But yeah, it was nice. But Barron County, and that's tomorrow night. And Scott, you said depending on weather, there's a chance they might move it to Friday.
Yeah, it's on the schedule anyway. That it's rained Thursday, they'll move it to Friday. But like I said, hopefully the rain will be out of here. It's supposed to be out of here overnight, I think. So as long as you don't get a ton of rain, I'm sure they'll be ready to go tomorrow night on it. So,
and Tyler Maskell also wanted me to pass along, Scott. He's had several inquiries about season tickets, and you can get your season tickets by going to this website. And I'll try to say it slow so you can write it down. But of course, it's www.adair.kyschools.us. www.adair.kyschools.us/tickets. Again, www.adair.kyschools.us/tickets. And they are selling season tickets right now. And he said they are about a month away from starting to advertise basketball, girls and boys season tickets.
And I'm not sure what it costs per game if you didn't buy season tickets, but I know I did I did go to that site and look it up. You can get season tickets for $25, so that's $5 a home game. And I'm not sure, but I think it's $6 or $7 if you just buy them at the gate. So if you're planning on going to the games, you can save some money there to do it that way. So,
and Scott asked last week, I'm going to get to do the whole football season this year. It was just a complication with my retirement and the obligations, but last year, so I'm really excited to see the new look from the Indians, and I'm excited to be back in the booth. And yet to be determined. Scott, have you made any decisions yet?
I think Ty's going to do it with you.
So Ty's going to be my partner
as of right now.
Yeah, Scott gets pretty emotional. He has a son playing, and he wants to watch. So we'll leave it at that. Scott, let's make the transition away from football for just a second. Talked to Coach Snead today via text, and middle school girls basketball, they're starting their season, and he just said, and I'm quote, "It's a great group of young ladies. They're defending conference champions. And they're fun to watch, and he urges everyone to come to their next home game on August 17th. So I'm assuming it's, say, a 5 o'clock start, probably for the 7th grade.
5, 6, and 7.
5, 6, and 7, right. Maybe for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Yeah. And so Coach Snead, I know I've talked to him a couple of times. He's really excited about this team and kind of the potential for the high school. Mike is Scott. He's coached a lot of things, and he really cares about Adair County. And he wants to see these girls progress and move forward throughout middle school, junior varsity, and varsity. So just real quick, I had a call into Coach Neat today, Michelle Neat, the girls high school volleyball coach. It's her first year. They were 9-26 last year, and this is Michelle's first year. And looks like they open up at LaRue County on the 14th, and it's kind of a brutal start here as far as
they're on the road the first 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 6 games on the road. Do not return home until August 28th/29th. I know the 29th is for sure their first home game, Camelsville at home. The 28th is a to be announced, so she didn't have anything penciled in there. But I know there's been a lot of excitement. I personally know Michelle. She first came to Adair County, did her student teaching in the math department when I was up there. That's where I first met her, and she was a tremendous teacher. She took the curriculum job at the high school, and so I know she will work really hard with the volleyball program, and I really don't know a lot as far as because Addie plays, as far as returners and off that 9-26 season. Maybe you can elaborate on it a little bit.
They're going to be young. I think they've only got 2 seniors on the whole team this year, and only 2 or 3 juniors. They're going to be really young. They did play in the Bluegrass State games. It's not last 2 weekends ago. Got to play up there in that, and they got 7 games in that. They won 1 of them, but that was those are all scrimmages. They don't count the regular season, and they actually going to Bowling Green. That was varsity only up there in Lexington's Bluegrass State games. They're going to Bowling Green this weekend, freshman, JV, and varsity, to play in it's scrimmages again. It's kind of like a jamboree kind of thing, all-day event. So then that'll get them ready for the regular season starting on Monday. And like you said, it's they didn't do the new coach any favors the first 2 weeks on the road.
At LaRue on the 14th, at Casey on the 15th, and at Green on the 17th, and then the rest of the games are on KHSAA.
Yeah.
Scott, talk a little bit about golf and new man in charge, Nick Cole. I know Nick is a tremendous young man, and I know he's a good teacher, and I also know he's a great golfer. And me and Tyler were talking about that today and some of the improvements that the kids are already showing. And I'll let you talk about that a little bit. I'd had a call in to Nick today and said he would give me some info, and he hadn't had a chance yet. So I'll let you talk about what you know.
All I know is going from Facebook, the Dare County Schools athletics thing site, and they had the boys' scores at the Pines yesterday against Metcalfe County. They don't have the who won the match or whatever like that, but they were led by 3 players in the low 40s. Jagger Kemp had a 41, Caden Burton had a 42, and JT Loy had a 42, Bodie Richard a 47, Graham Robertson a 49, Carson Coomer a 46, Gatlin Parnell 48, and Ethan Froge a 53 for the boys' side. The girls were at Burnside 2 days ago. That would have been on Monday. They were led by Isla Loy's 47, and Isla's only a 6th grader, and she can't. I think 6th. She may just be a 5th grader. I'm pretty sure she's 6th grader, and she can't play varsity yet. So she was a low scorer even as a non-varsity player. Lily Loy had a 51, Allie Campbell 57, Claire Loy 61, Ashley Loy 63, Gracie Giss 66, and Madison Irvin 66. That was over at Burnside when they played against Southwestern on Monday. They had the 2A state qualifier yesterday. No scores are available for that yet, but that was played at Campbellsville Country Club yesterday, and that's one of the official tournaments where they can only play 5. You play 5 and play 5 players, count top 4 scores.
Now, is Nick coaching both boys and girls?
I think so. I'm not positive, but I think he is.
Okay. And before we exit this last segment, we just want to tell you also the high school football schedule. Next Friday night, Russell County, Scott, and it's always a big rivalry. That's home. That's the Don Franklin Auto Classic on the 18th, which is next Friday night. We'll be there. We'll have it live on Hot Country 93.5. We're probably going to go on about 30 minutes before the kickoff. We'll have some comments from Coach Stonebreaker, and Scott and I will set the stage for the matchup. And then the Indians' second game, they play Bardstown Bethlehem. It's at Marion County on August 26th.
Saturday night.
At 5:30, a 5:30 kickoff. It's the Kentucky Cooperage Bowl. So I know that's a big factory over there.
I wonder if the winners get a bourbon barrel for like a trophy.
I have no idea.
Probably not for high school.
That'd be a good idea. And then the next 2 contests at LaRue, September 1st, at Franklin Simpson on the 8th. The next home game after next Friday night, the 18th, against Russell, will be against Monroe County, and that will be the 15th of September. So
that's the newly that'll be the Hall of Fame weekend, or Hall of Fame.
So in summary,
introduce the Hall of Famers.
Okay. In summary, before we go to break, scrimmage tomorrow night, home against Barrett, middle school 5, varsity approximately 7:15, and then the next Friday night, the Indians open up against Russell County at home, and then their next home game will not be till the 15th of September. So we're going to take a break. We come back, we're going to make a little bit of a different transition, some different sporting events here on 1270 AM 1019 Hot Country.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hey, it's Carson. I hope that we get to spend the work days together every weekday from 9 until 2. It's Country with Carson on Hot Country 93.5. We're talking about what's trending, what's going on with you, and don't be surprised when your favorite country stars drop on by. You can reach me anytime through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. It's Carson on Air. Also, hit me up at 800-667-8686. It's Country with Carson, weekdays from 9 until 2 on Hot Country 93.5.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
So on behalf of myself and all the Opry members, past and present and future, Luke Combs, you are now officially the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry.
Being inducted into the Opry by Joe Diffie and Vince Gill, two artists I grew up listening to, was one of the highlights of my life. Every time I'm on the Opry, I share the stage with my heroes and play the music that I love. There's nothing else like it, whether you're behind that microphone or out in the crowd. On any given night, you could see a once-in-a-lifetime performance or watch an artist get a surprise invitation to join the greatest family in country music. Even if you've seen the Opry once, you haven't seen it all. It's a blast, not just for fans, but for artists too.
Be listening to Hot Country 93.5 during the McKinney in the Morning Show for Opry Rain T-shirt clues and your chance to win tickets to the Opry. Brought to you by J&S Auto Sales.
I'm Luke Combs, and I'll see you soon at the Opry, the show that made country music famous.
The WAIN Community Calendar brought to you by McDonald's of Columbia. For any information or tips concerning local drug activity and prevention, the Columbia Police Department would like to remind residents to contact their tip line, Callie's Line, at 270-378-2259. That's 270-378-CALLIE. Again, 270-378-2259. As always, you can remain confidential. Again, for any information or tips concerning local drug activity and prevention, the Columbia Police Department would like to remind residents to contact their tip line, Callie's Line, at 270-378-2259. That's 270-378-CALLIE. Again, 270-378-2259. As always, you can remain confidential. For the latest community events, log on to our website, 935wain.com.
JNS Sports Talk Live and Local. Scott, let's talk a little football. That's the buzz, college football. We got coming up, and we're going to talk about, we're going to give Louisville a little bit of love tonight. I'm going to talk about their schedule a little bit. But Kentucky first, they open up September 2nd against Ball State, followed up by EKU, Akron, their first away game, week 4 at Vandy, Florida at home, at Georgia, Missouri at home, Tennessee at home, at Mississippi State, Alabama at home, and then finish up the last 2 games on the road at South Carr and at Louisville. Scott, the over-under in Vegas on Kentucky is the highest I've seen it is 7 wins. I heard from someone that one casino has it at 6.5, so which would make 7 would be a push if they hit on 7. Yeah. But looking at the schedule, Scott, assuming, and you can't assume a win over Florida. They have had Florida's number, and the Vandy game, the way that's crazy series has been, used to be owned by Kentucky, but not the last 3 years. Kentucky could conceivably be 5-0 to start.
Yeah, that's the goal, I'm sure. I mean, it's having Florida at home, I think, helps some. But I mean, you got to beat Vandy. I mean, I know they lost to them last year, but you just got to beat them. The first 3 weeks are your paid games, they call them, where you got smaller schools come in, you guarantee them a check to take a loss. I mean, that would be catastrophic if they dropped one of them. But I mean, that's obviously the goal of it is to be 5-0 going to Georgia. Nobody on earth expects them to win that game, so that would be a huge upset there. But even going past that, who is they play after Georgia? I'm trying to read your writing from here.
Missouri.
I mean, that's a game that they should win. Then they play Tennessee at home. I mean, you're looking at the possibility of going to Tennessee game at 6-1 if you hold serve, upset Tennessee, and it's a whole different outlook on things. I mean,
of course, I think you're catching Louisville at a bad time.
I'd rather play them first game of the year.
Give Brom all year to get his stuff in because we know he's an offensive guru over there at Louisville. Yeah. Scott, I've been a little bit of criticism on the schedule. You got 2 MAC teams. You got Ball State and Akron. We used to play in Indiana. We used to play a team of that caliber. Your thoughts on that? Two MAC teams.
The gauntlet of the SEC. It don't bother me to have those 3 games. You're at least you're still playing U of L. You're still getting of the 4 non-conference games. You're playing a Power 5 team there. Until UK can consistently be a 9-10 win team, I think you got to take the easy wins.
Kentucky opens up September the 2nd, and
Labor Day weekend.
That is not opening weekend though. No. You got Navy Notre Dame on August 26th. So we're
there's a few games. I think Vandy and Hawaii play that week before also. So there'll be a few. What they call it, week 0. I think there'll be a smattering of games on that Saturday before. There'll be a few games on that Thursday before that. Before the 2nd, whatever day that is. I guess it'll be August 31st.
Scott, before we transition to Louisville and their schedule, Devin Leary, one of 35 quarterbacks nominated for the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback Watch List. He was, in his career at NC State, he was 568 for 944, 62 touchdowns, and threw for 6,807 yards through the air. So the word on Leary, and everybody knows it, can he stay healthy through a full season?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question on him. Just getting rave reviews out of practice right now from the open practice they had for the fans on Saturday. Of course, you don't see a whole lot there to see him throw. Coach Cohen was on Tuesdays are offensive days for the media. Coach Cohen, the offensive coordinator, was on yesterday. I saw the video on YouTube today and was asked about some different things, and they'd worked on the 2-minute drill yesterday, and he said he was amazed at how well Leary done on the 2-minute drill. listening to KSR today. They had Tim Couch on, and Couch had seen him a few times, and he said it's going to be different than what Levis was. Of course, Levis had that just an outstanding athlete and had that humongous arm. He said Larry's a lot more surgical is the word he used, a lot more throws a more accurate ball. Says that one of the things he always thought about Levis was he held on the ball too long and tried to use his athleticism to get away from things. He said with Leary it's going to be gone. He said he does not hold the ball, and but he works through his progression so much. Coach Cohen was talking about that today. He said normally if you're the first and second intended receiver, he said most of the time at college you don't get past that. He said we've already seen in practice he'll get to the fourth and fifth. He scans through everything that quick. So he said we've got to make sure our backside guys are running their routes the right way and where they're supposed to be, because he said they could very well get the ball.
Yeah, so Kentucky, as Levis departs, they add Devin Leary back there at quarterback, a proven transfer, and hope he can stay healthy. Louisville, Scott, they open up on September 1st at Georgia Tech. That game's in Atlanta. Murray State, week 2, at Indiana. Week 3, Boston College at home on week 4. At NC State, week 5. Notre Dame at home, week 6. At Pittsburgh, week 7. Duke, Virginia Tech, Virginia, all at home. At Miami, Hurricanes, week 11, and you got the Kentucky Wildcats, of course, at home on the last week. And looking down through there, Scott, Pitt, always solid. Of course, Notre Dame that'll be a tough out. Both Virginias will be a tough out. Virginia Tech, Virginia. Miami, hit and miss with Miami. You never know. Yeah. You still got the persona of that program down there. And then that Georgia Tech game opening week will be tough if Georgia Tech always really physical.
Yeah, that's going to be to me. If Louisville win that first game, I think they win 7 or 8 games this year. To be honest, and that's somebody that don't like Louisville sports. I think that the first game is going to mean a tremendous amount to them. You can almost write off the Notre Dame game. You can almost write off to me, you can almost write off either the Virginia or Virginia Tech. One of them two, I think they'll drop for sure. At Miami, regardless of what Miami is, the one thing they do to catch them is the week before the 11th game of the season. And if Miami's having a rough time earlier in the season and they kind of go downhill, you might catch them at the right time. If they're having a great season, it might not be a good time to catch them at all, because they might have bigger aspirations at that point in time. But I think from what I've read, the favorites in the ACC this year are Clemson, obviously, and then Florida State and North Carolina, and they avoided all those teams. So that's a good thing there.
Scott, just a couple questions. Your thought on the best football teams in the country. Of course, Georgia's got to be in the topic of conversation. Alabama, and then the dismantling of the Pac-12 out there. Your thoughts on that?
That's just the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I'd always thought, from seeing all this talk about realignment over the last few years, I thought that they were on their way to, just my personal opinion, they were on their way to 4 16-team super conferences, and that way they'd have 64 teams and they could play it and set up their. I thought it would go to a 16-team playoff. I was expecting the Pac-12 to be one of those 4 with 16 teams in it, just because of the layout of everything. But now you hear they've lost another 2 to the Big Ten in Oregon and Washington. And the craziest thing about all this is the ACC going to pick up Cal and Stanford. How can it be the Atlantic Coast Conference to have 2 on the West Coast? It's just
what does that mean as far as travel and expenditures?
I wish Chris was here to talk a little bit about this, as being in the athletic department at Lindsay. I mean, it's one thing, especially these big schools here, to travel for football and basketball. He mentioned this last week. What you're going to say? Here's my opinion on what may happen. It's just my best guess, and it's probably not even close to being right. I think you're going to see especially football. I think maybe just football break away from the NCAA. And of course, the NCAA don't really have nothing to do with football right now anyway, but just to, and basically, I'm not sure how the conferences, I think there'll be 4, quote, conferences, and get them split up somehow and set it up in the play, kind of like the NFL does. I mean, where the NFL has divisions, college, I don't think they'll call them divisions in college, but I think it'll be set up somewhere similar to that. And I think that's where it's going. I just hope, my personal opinion, I just hope they can salvage the basketball tournament. I mean, that's they may very well stay in conferences for maybe, hopefully basketball even, but your swimming, your softball, your baseball, your non-revenue sports, I think they'll have to come up with some kind of solution to keep them in some type of conference fairly local to be able to offset the travel cost of those.
We're going to take one short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk Cincinnati Reds. We're going to talk Major League standings. We're going to talk about both the AL and the NL and where this thing is headed on Sports Talk Live and Local. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Cameron Smith. I'm a Campbellsville High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning a degree in secondary education. At LWC, I've met new people, become involved on campus, and I have loved being part of the sports programs. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Get the latest, most up-to-date local news on our website, 935wain.com. It's absolutely free with no subscription fees and never any clickbait. Guaranteed. Check it out, 935wain.com.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month for news, weather, and emergency information. A new bill in Congress would make sure AM radio remains in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
The message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Scott, before we transfer into Major League Baseball or transition into Major League Baseball, Cody's Wish experiment did not work out. They stretched him out to a mile and the eighth in the Whitney, and great coverage with Cody and his dad. They were there at Saratoga, but it did not work out. I know a lot of local people keep up with that, so I wanted to bring that up. He did finish third, and he was defeated by a horse called White Abario, who won the race. Cody's Wish had already beaten White Barrio twice. Don't know.
Was it too far?
Just didn't fire, didn't break extremely sharp, just didn't run his race. So be interesting to see the spot they come back in, Billy Mott with Cody's Wish. Scott, Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals. I know we got a lot of Bengals fans around here. He goes down in camp with a calf injury, and they're saying that because this is a lingering injury that Burrow might have to miss maybe as many as the first 5 weeks. Your thoughts about that?
That would be disastrous, I think. I mean, it's the quarterback's so important in the NFL. And, the Bengals have been riding high the last few years with the young team they have, and that's the thing about it, and especially in the small market teams. Same thing with the Reds right now too. You got to try to make hay when you're young, because after that first contract, it's hard for these smaller market teams to pay. I mean, and that's what they'll make. I'm sure that the Bengals will make the decision to sign Burrow long term if they can. I'm sure that they will. But then you look at it, their Chase, their best receiver, real young. Can they afford to pay him too? Can they afford to pay some of the young defensive players they've got? So, I mean, we already know. Comparing them to the Reds, we know from watching the Reds over the years, John, what's going to happen. This team will be together 3 or 4 more years. These young guys, when their contracts come up, they won't pay them, and so enjoy Ellie De La Cruz while you can, because he ain't gonna be there. They ain't gonna pay him. So it's just the one thing about being a Cincinnati sports fan is this smaller market, and they're not gonna pay him.
There hasn't been a repeat Super Bowl champion in 20 years.
It's been that long?
Yeah, 20 years. So the Chiefs, they were talking about this earlier too. Will not probably be the favorite. They are super loaded or super talented. Oh, yeah. But the Bengals certainly, with a healthy Joe Burrow, have a shot at winning the AFC for sure.
And I wouldn't be shocked at all. You never know what the NFL's going to do as far as the parity that is there, but I wouldn't be shocked at all not to see a repeat of the Super Bowl this year. Chiefs and Eagles, I think they're both easily the best the teams that are top of their conference, in my opinion. What are the Cowboys going to do this year? We need to talk to Wells about this.
Of course, I don't think Dak's been real sharp in training camp from some of the videos I've been watching, but we'll see. I don't want to prejudge too early.
Sure we do.
Scott, the Reds, we were just in here last Wednesday. We were in here last Wednesday. Wells asked me the question, did you think they would be in the position they were in this time of the year a month ago when we took our break? And they were red hot. Since then, they lost another series today against the Marlins in a 5-4 game. They lost 3-2 last night, 5-4 tonight. So they lose 2 out of 3 in the Marlins series. Prior to that, swept by the Nationals, and then lost 3 out of 4 to the Cubs. Yeah. So Wells is Cubs.
2-8. Yeah, 2-8 in their last 10, and Wells' Cubs have passed us up in the standings, John. There's a half game back of Chicago. That Chicago team's a team nobody wants to play them right now. They put up. I've never seen. Chris was talking about last week, and Chris talking about they scored 20 runs last night against the Reds. They probably won't score 2 tonight. Well, they scored 16 that night, and they just pound the ball.
Listen to the Cowboy this afternoon. I was on my way back. I had a little trip. I was out of town. Listen to the Cowboy. He really thought if Cincinnati could win that game today, that would have given them 2 out of 3 in that Marlins series, and it would kind of hush the bugaboos as far as a losing streak to win a series. Scott, they were up 4-1 going into the top of the 8th today. Gave up 3 in the 8th, and then another run in the 9th to get beat 5-4. I mean, that's a crushing loss.
No, and honestly, I know the Marlins are decent this year. I think I'll check right here real quick. They're in 3rd place and have a win. They have a better record than Cincinnati does right now, just a little bit better. 3rd place in the East. They really missed out on opportunities against the Nationals. If they could have took care of business against the Nationals, not got beat 3 in a row there, that put a better taste back in their mouth. And they got, I think their next series is against Pittsburgh. Let me check here real quick. I'm almost positive it is. Starting either tomorrow or Friday. Let me look here real quick. Starting Friday against Pittsburgh, then they play the Guardians, Cleveland, in a couple games, and then they play the Blue Jays in the series. If they could have gotten, instead of losing 5 of 6 on these 2 little series over the weekend and against the Marlins, if they could have won, they could have split. I mean, Pittsburgh they was off to a red hot start, but they fell back. And if you could have took care of business there, I think you could have maybe survived and at least got the wild card. But they're going to have to turn this thing around, and I don't expect them obviously to have another 12, 13 game win streak like they had before. But you got to start winning some series. You got to take 2 or 3 of these teams.
And the Brewers did win today.
Yeah, the Brewers are out 2.5 on the Reds, 2 on the Cubs. So. It's on me.
I updated the standings here for the show. I don't look at these every day, and probably our listeners don't either. So just a real quick recap. The American League East, Baltimore with a 2-game lead on the Rays, and that really surprised me when I looked at that because I knew how hot the Rays were early. So Baltimore now leads that division. Minnesota with a 4.5-game lead over the Cleveland Guardians. In the West, Texas with a 3-game lead over Houston, and then in the National League, Atlanta
they're running away
10.5 over Philadelphia. Atlanta's really playing good baseball. Have played good baseball all year. As Scott said, in the Central, Milwaukee. 2, and you said 2.5
over the Cubs, 2.5 over the Reds.
2 and 2.5. So the Reds now in 3rd place in that division, and then the Dodgers in the West
starting to control it a little bit more.
They got hot, and they got a 5-game lead over the Giants in that series. So
going back to the standings there a little bit, John, would you or anybody have figured that in the American League East that the Yankees would be in 5th place and the Red Sox will be in 6th place, 11.5 and 12 games back, and Baltimore would have been leading it? It's just it's wild.
So
I'm glad to see them. We've been rooting on the Orioles for 3 or 4 years now. Ever since the show started, that was we'd always have to. Of course, most of the time it was a joke. We'd check see how far back they were, but they completely turned it around now.
And Scott, if we can get the powers above us to allow it with the sports. The sports wagering bill having passed and supposed to go into effect the end of September, they're saying we're going to have a weekly pick in football coming up. Just go through it and have a weekly pick for those who might be interested.
Sounds good. Speaking of the Orioles, pretty sure. Let me check here. I think they come to Cincinnati. Maybe they don't either. I know they played them and Baltimore. But I thought for some reason I was thinking they came to Cincinnati. But I don't see it here now, so never mind. I just say that we ought to make the trip up there to watch that one if the Orioles came up there.
So for our staff here, Austin Armstrong, who's been our studio engineer, Scott Bennett. This has been the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. We want to go over our sponsors one last time before we sign off. J&S Auto Sales, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health. You can follow us on Facebook at WAIN 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, and on YouTube at WAIN Radio. And these are also archived. So until
start getting easier next week on our shows. It's game week next week, so we'll be able to roll through it. I thought you done a good job tonight, John. It's still kind of the slow time of the year, so I mean it's starting next week. We'll get in the game weeks, and then especially going after that, we'll have recaps, and then Lindsey Wilson will be getting underway. So we've almost got the summertime whipped.
And Adair County having some new leadership positions out there with the athletic director, new superintendent of schools. I know a lot of people were urging for pushing, and I know Craig Biggs was an integral part of this. Craig just ended his 1-year tenure as athletic director. A lot of renovations games at Adair County High School gym.
Yeah,
and
I saw some pictures on Facebook of they're doing their teacher training out there this week, and it looks different. I mean, you remember how red everything was. I mean, there's a lot of royal blue in there now, so it looks really nice.
So for Scott, for Austin, and Chris will be back next week. I'm John Shelley. Good night, everyone.
CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM and 1019 FM WAIN, Columbia, Kentucky, a Folk Broadcasting station.
He's live. He's nationwide on CBS